Okay, so here's going to be a quick look at my run in the Arena Showdown for Labyrinth Cup. Ended up waiting this. Um, I didn't do as well as I was hoping to across the entire month. My worst month ever. Um, Managed to lose 2 games at least in every tournament I took part in. Um, so I ended up waiting this one, thinking that the higher ranked opponents might help boost the ranking a little bit. A few things to look back on. Well, first of all, I said I was going to swap Stunfisk in for Venusaur. I didn't, and the reason I didn't was because when I was entering the team, I entered Stunfisk, Vigoroth, Regirock, and Jellicent, and I looked at that and I was just like, I'm just going to lose to Venusaur, so I can't do that. So I wanted to keep Venusaur in there for them to help out in the mirror. Especially given that Mandibuzz and Ninetales are both weak to Regirock, and Venusaur. Regirock is a really good core, so the team's the same. But I just think in general, I think the team was okay. I think it was perhaps a better 6 on paper than it was having the sort of parts together that made good 3s, if that makes sense. I think as much as I enjoyed Mandibuzz, I think at the beginning of the month I perhaps didn't expect Alolan Ninetales to end up being quite as prominent as it was. I think I saw Vigoroth and Politoed being the bigger things, and Alolan Ninetales, Alolan Marowak, and so I always felt sort of hamstrung using Mandibuzz by Alolan Ninetales. There was more electric than I was expecting to see as well. So, and you know, the meta develops over the month, and it became obvious sort of halfway through that was going to be the case. But by that time, I didn't really have time to pick a new team, so I just went with what I went with, which I like doing anyway. It's usually nice to. I usually like learning how a team plays and working that way rather than trying to keep up with the meta. Although I do feel towards the end this well, so even towards the end, maybe from the beginning, perhaps maybe I don't know, that it kind of felt like, because it was so broad and teams were so varied in the types that they had, unless you had a particularly good matchup, it often felt to me a little bit like you were at the mercy of a sort of luck of the draw, really. In some cases, at least. I think there are cases where, certainly against Vigoroth and Politoed teams, they tend to be less bothered about switch advantage, because unless they're up against a Venusaur, both or a grass type, both of them will have reasonable matchups against most things. So I don't think it's a case of RPS. I think it's a case of well, perhaps backlines backlines and cores sort of matching up nicely, which I had I foreseen that at the beginning of the month, maybe I would have built my team around a core that was a lot tighter than sort of Jellicent Mandibuzz or Jellicent Vigoroth, I guess. So, but you know, lessons learned. I think I feel like I've not been playing my best since the end of Sorcerer's Cup, which is a long time now. And whether I've just tried to overthink things in my team building and in my play or whatever, I don't know. But I'm going to try. I mean, it's difficult because the thing I enjoy most about Silph is team building. But I'm going to try and go back to basics a little more in the months coming up. But I can't. I'm not going to promise myself that that's going to happen. I don't like setting myself up for failure more than is absolutely necessary. But yeah, let's get into it. I wasn't expecting to do particularly well here, but it was nice to have a crack. I've never been involved in a big top level tournament like this. I've lost, not won regionals. I've always lost a game at regionals, so I've never really had a chance to get involved in a big tournament like this. So it was nice. It was nice to get this opportunity. So thanks to Silph for putting this together. Really proud to be involved in the first one. But I was going into it like 2-5, 2 wins, be happy. And then first round I get drawn up against Beach, who has a Lantern, the only Lantern in the tournament, and I get drawn against it. And on top of that, they've got Ninetales Zweilous as a core with Marowak Zweilous with a core with Ninetales as well, so it makes my Venusaur really hard to use. So I'm just not going to use Venusaur because I'm just going to be playing RPS at that point, and I know that Vigoroth will take on Lantern, Regirock will take it on in 2s, Ninetales, if I land a Gleam, will take it on. Mandibuzz, if I get a couple of Snarls, I think it can pick up, is it 1s or 2s? Like, Mandibuzz can take it on. It really has to. So there's ways around it. I just need to be really careful, so let's get into it. So lead Mandibuzz, hoping he doesn't lead Lantern, but he does. So I'm going to go straight into my Vigoroth safe slot. He goes to Marowak, which is sensible, obviously, as a counter to Vigoroth and keeping it away from the Mandibuzz. And I'm going straight for Bulldoze, thinking I want to win switch. Now this is a mistake because I know for either, I know I'm going to be stuck with Mandibuzz and Regirock up against a Lantern. And for either of those to turn that match around, I'm going to need energy. And as you can see here, I'm going to go for the Bulldoze to kill the Marowak. And what this does is it deprives me of an opportunity to farm the Marowak to gain the energy I need. So he's going to come in with Lantern. Yeah, here he comes in with Lantern. Spark me down. I mean, I'm going to get a Body Slam off, but it makes little difference in the scheme of the game. And now I'm going to have to spend shields, and then I'm going to be caught up against whatever. Yeah, I can't go to Mandibuzz because I know Thunderbolt's going to be super effective. So at this point, I'm just going to try and keep Mandibuzz in the back, hope he's got Venusaur in the back, and try and win that way. But we'll see what happens. It's looking pretty grim. So I've just got to block this one. And yeah, I'm just not going to win, am I? Yeah, Thunderbolts are coming too thick and fast. I go to catch one here, thinking that keeping the energy on the Regirock might be the way forward in case it's a lot of Ninetales in the back, meaning that I could go straight for a Stone Edge and kill it. But obviously that's a bit of a flawed plan because I just now lose to the Ninetales. So it was sort of clutching at straws a bit there, really. But it was clear that I wasn't, I had to try and force my opponent to make a mistake in that situation. So there was no better play there, really. If for some reason he'd stayed in, it might, I could have swung it, but as I say, there's no reason for him to have done that. Yeah, Ninetales just takes me out. Game 2, I think I stick with the same line, but lead Vigoroth this time. Of course, straight into the Marowak. And again, I'm going to save swap Mandibuzz at some point here. Yeah, so I'm building up a load of energy to try and help me take on whatever Vigoroth needs to take on, because my hopes of winning this game rest on Vigoroth. And I know, as I say, I feel like I'm sure I remember there being some sort of win con with Mandibuzz versus Lantern. So I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna start firing the Dark Pulses off. I shield this, thinking I can get to another Dark Pulse, but not quite. But I shield again, thinking that if I can line Regirock up with AWAC, I might be able to make some ground back, especially knowing that I've got the Bulldoze sword on Vigoroth. I might be able to pull some ground back. Ninetales comes in, so this isn't great for Mandibuzz. But I do know now that if I go into Vigoroth once this is dead, and I can line Regirock up versus Marowak, there might be a chance. Although the Marowak has got a lot of energy stored because I stayed in with the Vigoroth for a bit at the beginning. Perhaps a mistake switching there, because now I've given him switch advantage and the opportunity to switch out. But I didn't want to. I didn't want to let him farm as much energy as he wanted on the Ninetales. So maybe that was a mistake there. Yeah, not able to get to the Bulldoze, so I'm going to have to spend that energy with the Regirock. I think I come back in Mandibuzz here. Maybe I'm letting the switch timer go up. Or I want to keep the Regirock as much help as I can. Oh no, I'm going straight into Regirock. Perhaps a misplay, actually, another one maybe. I was feeling, I remember being really annoyed that I got matched up with a one Lantern in the tournament, round 1. So I was probably a bit tilted, but no, that's not an excuse. There we go. I briefly remember that now. Farming all the way up with the Regirock to try and save some energy. But yeah, in hindsight, bad play. Because I'm still going to have to throw a Stone Edge to kill the Ninetales from that pitiful amount of health, which is obviously one of the huge flaws with lock-on. So yeah, I'm just going to go for it straight away. Get the shield. And I get CMP'd. So I might just have been able to turn that around. But that powder snow, that weather ball sneaking in there was the end. Yeah, it'd have been close, but I think he'd probably still have had it. So just on for the got to keep the grit score now. Vigoroth, Alolan Ninetales, Jellicent. So I'm sort of banking on hitting the Ninetales in the lead, and I do, so that's good. Hitting the Lantern in the lead. I'll let it through. I'm trying to encourage him to let my move through. Because I know I don't go for the Bulldoze, I go for the Body Slams just in case, but I know I need to get some damage on this Lantern. There we go, he switches to Vigoroth. Oh yes, I remember bringing Jellicent because I've not brought it yet, and they've not brought their Vigoroth yet, so I thought in the third maybe they'd see it as a safe option. So I managed to catch them out there. I'm going to get to full energy before I throw my Ice Beam. I like Ice Beam because it makes Zweilous and Mandibuzz really think hard about this matchup. So I like Ice Beam for that. And it means Tropius needs to be really careful as well. So I'm going to shield that. When I get to as much energy as I can, then I can start throwing things at Lantern. I feel like he's got a fair bit of energy here, so he's going to want to shield. As you see, I tried to switch into Vigoroth there to catch the Thunderbolt, but it didn't quite go through in time. They switch out to Ninetales, so they're going to be able to farm me here, but I'm close to the other Shadow Ball on my Jellicent, so I hope what do I do here? Or maybe I come in with Ninetales to take a side shot first. Yeah, straight to Jelly. Oh, pubes. And then it's just a case of Alolan Ninetales in the mirror here, then trying to finish off the last thing. So I'm not going to dick about over farming. I've lost track of what his energy is, so I'm just going to go for the kill, knowing that the Lantern is going to be a bit slower. I'm able to get to the 2, so managed to pull back the 3rd, which is always nice. So yeah, tough round 1, as I say, but all these opponents are going to be tough, even if you're not at a team disadvantage. So nothing to say that had I got a nice match, I would have won. It's difficult to, can't be saying things like that at this level of competition. Round 2, 666, Geo, 999. I was really happy when I saw this because this is the sort of team I'd planned for. That core 4 with a couple of extra things thrown in there, Galvin and Xylus. So I'm likely to be using Vigoroth as a safe switch here a lot, likely because I'm not particularly scared of Marowak. Likely to be using Jellicent here a lot, and then probably something to take on the Xylus and Galvantula, so probably going to see a lot of Alolan Ninetales from me as well. So let's get into it. Alolan Ninetales, Jellicent, Vig in the first line. Hit a beautiful lead. They go into Marowak. I reply with Jellicent. Not the safest counter to Marowak, especially when you don't know what their charge move is. You don't want to be behind that energy, but they try and call my bait, and obviously it wasn't the bait, so that's put me in a great position here. I get to another Shadow Ball. Get the shield, and then let this through. Because I know all I need to do is bring Ninetales in versus this, keep the Vigor off for... Oh, I'll go the other way around, okay, that's fine. I mean, it feels safe either way. The Xylus can't touch the Ninetales, so this makes more sense, I guess. Yeah, just RPS'd him really. Although had the Marowak shielded the Shadow Ball and been able to KO the Jellicent, it would have been much tougher for me. So perhaps a little fortunate in this game. Yeah, Ninetales just going to clean up. And that should be game. Game 2, same line, but put Vigoroth in the lead. Expecting to see Galvantula or something to the like, which is not a great matchup, but it's not awful either. And it means that I can keep Jellicent around for everything else. So I'm quite happy with this. Especially given I'm going to get shields. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the Jellicent, but hopefully I'll have a 1 or 2 shield advantage by the time I'm using it, which is always a nice place to be. He's able to sneak in a Volt Switch through there. I can't remember whether that was important or not, but this was perhaps a mistake switching to Ninetales here, but it was probably going to farm me down otherwise, so maybe it was the right thing. Call the lunge. Not going to. Surely I'm not going to let this through. Oh dear, what am I thinking? So yeah, then I have to go for the Weather Ball. So now there's a lot of pressure on Jellicent. Yeah, definitely needed to shield that discharge. So here I'm thinking they're going to bait, because they know I need to start using my shields. They're going to bait. That's what I call it, and I get it, which is great. I'm able to catch something here, which is amazing. So there's another shield that I've gained, and now I'm just going to hope I call the shields right. Let's have a look. So I shield this one. It would, yeah. So he gets me, but I wasn't quite feeling ballsy enough to go for it. So I underfarm here, undercharge here, hoping that I can get a few bubbles of energy to beat the last thing. Earthquake, yeah. So I throw just before he gets to an Earthquake. There was no way he was going to throw the Weather Ball there, because I'd have just been able to keep farming him. And at this point, I think I've got him, because I'm one fast move ahead. So I throw the Shadow Ball, and he lives on pubes, lives the bubble, and then he's able to get a Shadow Burn off. So we're into a decider. So game 3, I'm expecting him to have learnt that Galv is good. So I lead Regirock again and into Politoed, which is awful because I've only got one switch into Politoed, which is Vigoroth. So I'm now in a real bad spot here because I've got Politoed in the back with two things that it beats. But in doing this, I've drawn out the AWAC, which means I can lean heavily on Alolan Ninetales. And situations like this are why I've got Dazzling Gleam, because I sort of foresaw myself being in Vigoroth versus Marowak quite a lot. I know I need to get a shield here, and he thinks he's got to keep switch, so I go for the bait and I get it. So that's huge. And then he's just going to farm me down here, I would presume. Yep. In with Regirock. Just to tank a few moves, try and allow myself to land a Stone Edge on the Toad, and I'm able to do that. I'm able to farm him down. Going for the Stone Edge. I know this isn't going to kill me, so I'll let it through. As I say, leaning on the Alolan Ninetales here. Expecting this to go unshielded. Yep. And then straight into the Ninetales. So. And here's the Galv. So I'm throwing. I've got a shield here, surely. Yeah, I'm throwing the Weather Ball, and I know at this point I've got to land a Sack Swap. I've absolutely got to land a Sack Swap. So I'm trying to keep energy as well because I need to be able to land a Dazzling Gleam on the. I need to be able to land a Dazzling Gleam on the Toad. So I'm resisting the urge to throw. No, I've got to get the swap. And it comes up just in time and I get it. Which was huge, obviously. Let me off for playing a silly line. I got very lucky there. Toad comes in, I'm at a Gleam, it's going to kill. And then my game stops working. And I get Volt switched down. The fact that it takes 4 Volt switches to kill me, the opponent and I both agreed that was my game. The opponent was nice enough to just give me that rather than replaying because, yeah, it was my game. So yeah, up to 1-1. So feeling much better now. Round 3, Bar the Gamer. Similar sort of team, but with Venusaur over Galvantula. So feeling pretty confident again that I can lean on Vigoroth, Alolan Ninetales, Jellicent, that sort of team. But with it being Venusaur rather than Galv, I really like Mandibuzz as well because Galv really. Mandy only really needs to keep away from the Alolan Ninetales to do put in some work. It's loses as wide, but the aerial lasers hurt. So yeah, see how it goes. So I start with one of my favourite lines: Vigoroth, Jellicent, Xylus. And I get a lovely lead. He goes to this Vigoroth safe swap, and I'm able to go to Jelly. But yeah, if he'd have led anything else there, I would have had to switch out at some point to save the Xylus for to save the Vigoroth for the potential Xylus. But this is why I like Ice Beam, because I'm able to farm down the Vigoroth. And if he does choose to bring Xylus back in, I'm going to be able to land an Ice Beam. So I'm anticipating the Xylus coming back in, so I'm tapping on the Ice Beams already. Which I do, and it is Xylus, so Ice Beam comes off. And he lets it through, just, I don't know, possibly has, I don't know, whether he's seen it as given up or whatever, but then Ninetales comes in, so he's still in with a chance. So he's recognised that Ninetales is probably going to put in work now. Now that Jelly's gone, so he saved his shields for that. Obviously, I've got Mandy in the back, so I've got to stay in with Vig. should be double shielding here. And then yeah, go into the Mandibuzz. And that's game. A bit. I was lucky there with the line. As I say, as long as I swapped out off the lead, I was giving myself a chance. But as I said, I won the lead, so it didn't come into play. So yeah, that's game 1. Game 2, I go with Mandibuzz in the lead, with the Vigoroth and the Ninetales in the back, hoping that if I lose the lead, I can safe swap to Vig, and then draw out the Marowak in doing so. So one of my favourite strategies. See if it works. So awful lead. So into my Vigoroth, as was the plan. Venusaur comes in, and this isn't good because I've got nothing in the back for his Ninetales. Although I probably will take a shield advantage here, so I'm going to be leaning on my Ninetales a lot in this game. But if he's got AWAC in the back, it's going to be a struggle for me, which I suspect he has. I don't think he would have been pleased I don't think he'd have chosen to go at a shield disadvantage if he didn't have AWAC in the back, knowing he could deal with a potential A9. I come in with Mandibuzz here to keep it away from his A9. Then into the mirror, but he's got Politoed in the back. So this comes down to, I think, whether I can get a bait. I should know better. I should know I need to bait here, or to land a bait if I'm going to be able to take on the Toad and the A9. But as it turns out, he lets it through. So I'm glad I didn't go for the bait. Obviously, I need to try and get a bit of extra energy here. So I'm going to. Well, I have no choice. I don't get to the move here. So, but I'm going to try and farm as much as I can. And I just about beat him to another one, but it feels like game to me. Yeah. So another pretty hard countery game. Just in the reverse direction this time. Mandibuzz tanks those so well. It's ridiculous. Shame it can't hit that. And then I pick a stupid line in the third game. I pick Jellicent, Venusaur, Vigoroth. So I'm hoping that I've put him off using Venusaur, given that I've been using Mandibuzz and I used all the Ninetales. If he leads Vigoroth here, if he leads Venusaur, I lose, and he leads Venusaur. So I'm just an idiot. I have to save swap to Vigoroth. He stays in. So I'm thinking I might get away with it here, knowing that I win zeros. I might be able to sort this out. And I overtap there, so I miss getting the body slam off, which is a pain in the arse because you'll see when I come in with Jellicent. So I'm going to farm. I'm going to go to the 99 energy. So I'm going to go there, and then I was going to try and catch a Bulldoze, but didn't work out. yeah, I've got enough energy on the Jellicent to threaten the Venusaur with Ice Beams. I didn't want to waste the energy on the Jellicent, whereas if I'd have landed that Body Slam in the mirror, I could have stayed in, which is a bit of a pain. So now, because now I have to come back in and I have to throw the energy, whereas had I landed the Body Slam, I wouldn't have needed to. I wouldn't have lost this. I mean, it's only a smidgen of health, but as I say, I have to go for the farm down. I have to keep the shields. I have to, and it just falls apart. I probably would have lost anyway because I picked such a silly line, but it just, all hope was lost as soon as I missed the Body Slam. Really, in comes the A9. And then I choose the shield. I was contemplating letting it through, but just getting things over with. But I thought, no, let's not be daft. Something might happen, but obviously, yeah. So really, I was kicking myself after that. I'm not gonna lie, I was really annoyed with myself. It's the sort of stupid thing I do occasionally. And it just I need to stop. So yeah, let's move swiftly on. Round 4, Nexocilia. Again, we see that core 4. Well, it's a mirror. It's a mirror of what I've just played. So I'm hoping to pick more sensible lines this time. Now, one thing that's worth noting is that we had to replay the first game because he had some quite bad desync, and it was obvious that it was bad, so we just replayed it. I won, and we both led Vigoroth, and so I know we're both leading Vigoroth in the rematch. The way I played it was I stayed in. I stayed in the mirror in the lead. And that meant that he had Venusaur in the back, and that gave the Venusaur nothing to do. So my thinking going into this rematch was, so obviously I've got to lead Vigoroth again. I'm just going to stay in the mirror again, and him thinking that I'm probably going to do that again is probably not going to bring Venusaur this time. So I bring Jellicent to try and get around that. So let's have a look. As I say, I knew it was going to be a Vigoroth lead. Throw after one extra counter, expecting him to do the same, trying to sneak one in as I throw, so we throw on CMP so no one sneaks any in. He shields, which is great for me because I can just let Vigoroth go down and then farm up with the Jelly. As I say, at this point I've got, I'm pretty confident he's not going to have Venusaur in the back this time. So I'm going to go for the full farm. Happy to tank a Bulldoze. And now he's in a real tough spot. I accidentally bubble first, so that's not great on my end, but it should be too much for him to deal with still. And it's clear he hasn't got the Venusaur, because if he did, he'd have come in here. I figure he's got to bait, so I call it. Do I try and tank another one? No. Knowing that I can get to the Shadow Ball, which seems like the sensible play to me. And then I just gotta hope he doesn't have AWAC in the back. He doesn't. He has Ninetales, so I'm a shield up, obviously. So he just stops tapping. He concedes the game. I'm just gonna throw Weather Balls. Don't want to show him that I haven't got Psyshock. So this might look a bit pedantic, but I'm just trying to protect my my hidden information. I felt a bit of a dick doing this, but it was the right thing to do, for sure. Yeah. So game 2, Ninetales, Venusaur, Vigoroth. Super risky again. Like, I don't why I'm doing silly things like this, because I have nothing. Like, Vigoroth is the Marowak counter, and I'm going into it now. Yeah, looked like he was trying to catch a bulldoze there potentially. Able to get back-to-back body slams, although I think he's not won him. Force a shield. Bit of lag there. It looked like it evened out. And then in with Ninetales for the farm down, or the attempt at a farm down, I would guess. Yeah, so he's got Vig and Reggie in the back, so Venusaur is looking nice here. Yeah, I feel like a Stone Edge is going to do more than a body slam, so I saved my shield for that. Over farm a little bit in case he lets it through, which he does. I have to go for the farm here. Oh, I let it through, so I'm hoping to farm with Ninetales. I'm hoping to outspam the Reggie, but it's looking unlikely, perhaps. So even that, maybe I could win this. Maybe not. Close. Yeah, so I lose this game even though he hasn't brought the Marowak, which I was ridiculously weak to. And then in the final game, I go back to the line that won me the first one, Vigoroth, A9, Mandibles, Jellicent. I'm going to stay in to begin with, because I know this is going to help Jellicent a lot. I don't feel like he'd have brought I don't think he'd have brought Venusaur in the back, because that would mean he'd just lose if I'd have led A9, and I'm giving people here more credit than I give myself, because I'm expecting people to not be picking lines as silly as mine. Yeah, so I'm quite confident knowing that if I get rid of this with Vigoroth, Jellicent in the back, he's going to be able to put in a lot of work. I'm able to beat into the last charge move, and he shields here, I think. Yeah, shield's trying to keep switch, which is fine by me. Because now Ninetales just comes in. So I was considering bringing Jelly in there and trying to get a couple of energy, a couple of bubbles off. So then Toad comes in, and at this point I feel like I'm just going to go straight Gleams. I'm at a shield advantage, so he's not going to want to go 2 shields down. Oh, I get a nice snack there. That was nice. And that I do that because if he had AWAC in the back, he would have brought it in versus the A9. So I know whatever he's got in the back. I know whatever he's got in the back. Thingy A9 is going to be good against it. But he does have Venusaur in the back, so my initial presumptions were wrong. Going to let the Frenzy Plant through here despite having all the energy, so I know I can just come in with A9 and, as I say, go straight Gleams. So yeah, a bit of a risky line on my opponent's part this game, which makes me feel a little bit better. But this is what I was saying at the beginning with this meta. Like, sometimes you've got to make these. It's felt like you often you feel like your lines are a bit risky because of the breadth of stuff on the opponent's team. Often it felt like you had to sort of make a guess at what they weren't bringing rather than what they were, which I don't like. But yeah, I was able to take that one 2-1. So that puts me at 2-2 overall. going into round 5 against JMA 1506. We see the AWAC Xylus core, we see the Wishcash Skarmory core, and then with Galvantula, which gives me trouble, and Vigoroth. See, I lead. I like the look of A9 here. Not much really wants to take it on there. It's got nice matchups all round apart from AWAC. So what I do in game 1, as we'll see, A9 with a big safe swap, knowing that he hasn't really got much else to take on the Vig other than the Galvantula. And if I do safe swap to Vig, that's going to draw out the Galv, which helps Mandibuzz. So it feels like a decent line. Yeah, so I'm just going to stay in versus the Skarm. Going to get 2 Feather Balls before he throws, which is nice because I'm likely to get a shield. No, he lets it through. I'm not going to push my luck with A9, thinking that he's likely to bring Marowak, so I'm going to let this first one through. And I'm able to get to another charge move, which is amazing. So I've now got Switch, but this puts me in a tough position because Dark Pulse Mandy doesn't beat Vig in 2s either at the best of times. But not only that, but he's now got an energy lead. Maybe what I should be doing here is shielding and trying to burn shields back, knowing that I can then gain a bit of energy with my Vig to finish it off. And then I think Vigoroth does best versus Galv, or the remainder of his team does best in zeros. So I should be shielding here and trying to force shields off him as well. So misplaying this actually in retrospect. I come in with Vig after getting a shield, trying to get a farm down, but he's able to throw. So now we are in the even shields, and I have got a bit of energy. But I'm in the 1s, not the zeros, and zeros probably would have been more favourable for me. As it turns out, it's Vilus in the back, so I've probably just about got away with it anyway. Yeah, Body Slam's close to taking it out. And the counters get him, and again, so yeah, win game 1 there. I'm expecting him to bring Galv and AWAC this game because they would have really helped him in the last game. Happy to use Mandibuzz as a safe swap because if I get 1 Snarl advantage, I can beat Galv in the zeros. But I don't need to at this point. But I do need to be careful here because I know I want to be able to save the Regirock if I can, given that he hasn't switched out. Because this is suggesting to me that he's got something else in the back which is weak to it as well. So I'm thinking my prediction of AWAC and Galv might be right, although I'm not hanging my hat on this just yet. But it's great that he's let that through because my A9 is going to look good here as well. So I do my safe swap at this point into Mandy to get a bit of energy. The bit of energy I need to beat Galv. Saving the Regi, knowing that it's likely to be good against something. I was right, it was good against something else, but he brings it in here. I'll let the first one through, knowing I can tank it, and then I'm pretty sure I can get to another Dark Pulse here to either force a shield or take it out. So I get my shield. Yeah, I was hoping to be able to get the Stone Edge off, but wasn't to be. So I go for a bit of farm. Then straight into Alolan Ninetales. And this is bad because it's the 1s. This is good, sorry, because it's the 1s, and that's the Ninetales beats Vigoroth in the 1s, but loses in the 0s and 2s. So it's nice that I've ended up in the 1s here. So I should win this. It was important that I switched straight into A9 though, because if he'd have got a slight energy advantage, that it would have swung it. So Quite pleased with myself here, because I'm sure I tanked this. Yeah, so he went Bulldoze knowing he wasn't going to get to 2 body slams, but had he got a slight energy lead, he would have been able to get 2 body slams. So that's what happened there. So yeah, really pleased with that. And then in the 3rd game, I go back to the original line. I wonder what I'm going to do here. In retrospect, I probably need to save this for a potential Galf, so I should be bailing at some point soon. But I guess if I can take an energy lead with my own Vigoroth, that isn't too bad either. Hoping I can farm down, but I fall just short. Save the energy on the Vigoroth in case I have to take on Galv later. Quite happy here because he's got to go for a Blizzard and I still got a shield. I'm expecting him to go straight for it, thinking that I'm not going to want to give up my shield. So I shield and I get the catch the Blizzard, so that's good. I'm going to force him to start using his shields now, and I feel like I can tank another Blizzard from here as well. So that's good. Don't quite make the aerial ace in time, and unfortunately I've already tapped it, so it's gonna. Oh, I get lucky there. Able to save a bit of energy on the Mandibuzz. Go for the farm down the Vig. Try and get that last shield here. That was a silly play. Oh, sorry, he has 2 shields, so maybe it wasn't a silly play. Yeah, it was a good call from my opponent there. And he's farming up enough energy so that a charge move is going to be able to take out Mandy. I go for the aerial ace, thinking that I'll be able to get through to the other Dark Pulse after it, knowing that I can't get 2 Dark Pulses. Get the shield, and then don't get the second Dark Pulse through. I don't think it would have killed from there anyway. But either way, won that game. So won that game 2-1. So I'm now 3-2 overall. Round 6, Dan WWW, Swedish player who I actually played in Gym Breakers previous to the showdown. He had a slightly different team. I beat him 2-1 then, but he's changed it up. Something a bit different. Liking the look of Jellison. I always like the look of Jellison, particularly against Toxicroak. I like the look of Regirock. Like Regirock Jellison, when the opponent doesn't have a grass type, he's always good. Obviously, they do have a grass type in this instance, being Cradilly, but Cradilly is going to not be resisting the bubbles, and it's going to be weak to the Focus Blast from Reggie. So I'm expecting a lot of Regirock Jellison here. So let's have a look. No electric type either, so Jelly and Mandy are a nice pair for me. Horrendous lead, so into my big save swap. Straight for the Bulldoze. I want to try and gain some sort of advantage here. So I'm getting a shield, which is nice, because I've got Mandibuzz in the back, which can take on Sableye all day. So perhaps a mistake there, maybe I should have thrown the Body Slam. Yeah, I should have thrown the Body Slam. So I'm letting the timer tick down, and then I'm going in with Mandy. He catches a charge move, which was nice, into Dugong. So I'm going to go straight into Jellison, which walls Dugong. Shadow Balls will hurt it, even if my attack's dropped a little bit. so I'm getting as much farm as I can. I'm going to try and make this matchup last as long as I can, because I don't want him to be able to bring Sableye back in and gain any energy. So I'm going to farm again. I choose to throw here because I want to preserve a bit of health. I don't want to let him throw an Icy Wind, knowing that by the time that charge move goes through, I can switch, which I do. Catch the foul play. Cradilly. So I'm shield up. So I'm thinking this is probably going to end in my favour. Obviously stone edges are going to hit, so I need to use those shields. Maybe I need to sack Jelly here somehow. Let's have a look. You can see he's sneaking fast moves through left, right and centre. Not good for me. So I've given up both my shields now. Surely I've got to try and catch a sack, but he's charging too fast. Those charge moves, fast moves he was sneaking through weren't helping me. And he switches fast, so he's able to get to the Sableye before I get to the Shadow Ball. So maybe I should have done a few extra doubles on the Dugong, and maybe I'd have been able to turn that around. Lead Mandibuzz this time with A9 and Vig, knowing that he didn't use Melmetal in game 1, and Mandy's fairly neutral versus it, especially if I can get a Snarl advantage, so I'm not feeling particularly threatened by the Melmetal. But I get a decent lead. Certainly a good lead for helping me do well with Vigoroth in the back. So I'm able to take a shield. I'm going to let Mandy go down and do a bit of farming with A9. Switch straight away to Dugong, so I'm going to stay in. I'm going to go to Vig, sorry. I thought it was quite a nice play, actually switching into Dugong, because it means he can save the Toxie as a sack if he needs it. Dugong being a fairly safe mon, but he is taking a bit of a risk on what I had in the back. Now I can come in and farm a little bit. I was going to try and farm down there, but I realised that if he'd have got a debuff on me, I wouldn't have been able to clear it because I'm out of mons to switch to. So I made sure that wasn't the case. Cradilly, so I've got a shield advantage, so I should be able to out-spam it. So I'm going to go for a full farm down here, knowing that then I can get back-to-back weather balls on the Croak. I get a bit. I don't know why I let him group some counters there. That was silly of me. But yeah, he sort of recognises its game. And then yeah, so we're into a decider. Vigoroth as the lead this time. Into a Sableye, which not a great matchup for Vig, but it's clearing a path for Jellicent in the back, hopefully. Although I have got to watch out for the Cradilly, so I know I've got to keep shields up to be able to beat Cradilly with Ninetales. And that's great, it's giving me a shield advantage. I learned from game 1, I knew I should have thrown the Body Slam, but I was just a little bit late throwing it, so again I don't get it through. He does a blind swap into Cradilly, which is massive because obviously I went into A9. Bit of lag here. It looked neutral. He disputed it. The rest agreed it was mutual. So he shields. And then I'm able to farm. Yeah. So I get to a load of energy, knowing that A9's going to be more dangerous than the jelly. Shield that so I can take his last shield. But he lets it through. Oh, sorry, he was out of shields. Yeah, so it's just games. I've got the Shadow Ball to do big hits, and I've got the Gleam saved as well. So it shouldn't be a problem here. So up to 4-2 now when this is all over. Shadow Ball does nothing after a couple of chips, after a couple of debuffs, but then Gleam's going to come and show him what for. What the ball just to finish off. 4-2, so buzzing at this point. Just really, really hopeful I got a good matchup in the last round. And then I see the team. Two of the things I didn't want to see. Abomasnow and Pelipper. Really, really the things I didn't want to see. And then I see the Sudowoodo as well, and I'm like, oh god, I'm going to lose to a Sudowoodo team here, aren't I? A9 has been doing me well all tournaments, so I decided to stick with the A9 lead with the big safe swap again to try and draw out the Marowak, and with Jellicent in the back. Pelipper is an issue for my team. I've got everything I have has play versus it, but I can't give it energy, otherwise I'm not going to be able to win switch off. So what I have to lead in a way where it's not a problem if my opponent leads Pelipper. So I have to lead. So A9, Reggie are sort of my favourite leads in this game, just in case of Pelipper leads. So horrible lead, so straight into my Vigoroth safe swap. And in comes the Pelly. I've got a slight energy lead, so hopefully I should be able to take some sort of advantage here. Swish advantage is best because it means I keep A9 away from AWAC, so I shield. But shield advantage is also reasonable because it means Jelly can do a bit of work. So it looks like my opponent quite fancies having switch advantage as well, which is completely understandable given the lead was AWAC versus A9. Surely I should... Oh, what am I doing? I should be shielding that. Although, to be fair, if AWAC had a shield advantage, it beats Jelly anyway, so maybe this is about as good as I could have hoped for, to be fair. So obviously in with the A9. Keep it away from the AWAC. No, he's got AWAC in the back, no point in protecting the A9. All on Jelly here. Again, no point in protecting the A9. And then I swapped to Jelly to try and get a slight energy lead. But he's got Abomasnow in the back, so that isn't good, and that's more or less game. My only win con here is him going for a bait and failing it, so I'm going to try and call that. But it wasn't a bait, so I lose game 1. Yeah, I could throw here, I could shield here, but A9's just AWAC's going to come in, so what's the point? Game 2. A bit stronger versus the Abomasnow this time. A bit stronger versus the AWAC. Still decent versus the Pelipper lead. he goes to Vig. Quite keen to save switch advantage here, as that will mean I can line A9 up with the Pelipper. So I'm going to stay in, and foul play. Dark Pulse Mandy should beat Vig in 0s and 1s. So I'm going to use my shield first. Knowing that now the decision's with him whether he wants to double shield. But then I make a silly play. Goes to the Vigoroth. I should be staying in. Get the farm down there, which is good. In comes Pelly. I'll probably be able to get 2 body slams. But I've given up switch to him now. I needed to get A9 in versus this. I know he's got loads of energy, so I'm going to send in the Mandy to tank all that energy and hope that A9 can beat what's in the back. But what's in the back is Sudowoodo, so had I not made that silly swap, I think Vigoroth certainly does better. Certainly does better than A9 does versus Pseudo. I imagine Vig wins the 1s, but even if it loses the 1s slightly, that's just a little bit of farm for Ninetales, and then it takes on Pelipper fine. So I threw this one away actually in hindsight. Yeah, poor play on my part there, and Sudowoodo is able to put in the work. So in the last game I switch it up. As I say, I stick with my lead that's strong against Pelipper. A9 into Marowak again. Safe switch into Jelly this time. Hoping that I'll be able to land the Shadow Ball before he gets to the Energy Ball, which I do. Then A9 can come in and farm after he kills me. Again, I try and call a bait. That's my best play. There's no bait. And now A9 has to come in to take a load of hits. I can't protect it because I'm just going to be caught versus the AWAC. And then Reggie in the 2s is just no good, and there's too much for it to be up against here. So I'm feeling like it's game over. Just to try and save the grit score. Let's see what happens. He has Marowak, so all of a sudden it's game on again. So I'm going to farm as much energy as I can. No shields, because I want to be able to shield the weather balls. So I get to my max energy and then throw my Stone Edge. Again, no shields. I want to be able to shield the weather balls. So it's now just a case of whether I can get to 3 Stone Edges. So he's farming up. He's going to try and go for back-to-back ones. So I'm going to shield. And here's where things get interesting. So rather than throwing back-to-back, he farms up another few. So now I'm thinking he's at back-to-back. So I shield the first. And then sack. Or try to sack, thinking that he had back-to-back. As it happens, he didn't have back-to-back, and me sacking gives him the energy to do this. Maybe had I not sacked, maybe I could have won, but game's over anyway. It was just a vanity thing for the old grit score. So yeah, I lost the last round. 0-3, so a bit of a negative net to finish on, but all in all, absolutely chuffed with 4-3. Top 128 players in the world or whatever. Despite having a bad month, it's serious consolation. I just hope when the recalc goes through, hopefully it'll have pulled me up a little bit. My goal this season is top 10 in the UK. Anything else, I don't care whether I hit elite or not. I would have thought being top 10 in the UK would be enough to hit elite by itself, like, you know, as a product of doing that. But what I want top 10 in the UK. It'd be great to hit seasons 1, 2, and 3. I believe that would make me the only person to do it, unless Richie pulls his finger out. But I know he's not particularly bothered anymore. So yeah, it'd be nice to get there. But so yeah, really hoping that the strength of the opponents is taken into account quite heavily with the rankings. But yeah, chuffed, really chuffed with that. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed, and yeah, catch you later.